Hi, I'm Travis, and this is Handcrafted Overlanding. Today is part 2 of the CNC router build. If you didn't see part 1, you didn't miss out on much, just me welding. Anyways, the gantry is really stable, but it still bends just enough to irritate me. I could have reinforced it with additional angle iron. I didn't end up doing that. So what I did was I bought a second one. And on top of that, I bought these little aluminum blocks. Well, I bought 2 of them. The new rail came with 1 of them. So I might end up using them, I might not. I haven't decided. If I use them, my bolts won't be in until like next week. So we wouldn't be bolting that up today. Not to mention I need to figure out the lineup. There's a few things I need to take into consideration when it comes to this. First off, my torque's gonna be over here. I bought I want to say like NEMA 27 motors. They are big, chunky guys. So the idea behind these is the NEMA 19s or 18s. I'll put all the actual description, proper numbers in it. But those guys are good. These guys, for not much more amperage, produce 40% more torque. And this is a long bed, and I'm not going for speed, I'm looking for torque and accuracy. So a lot of people said that these are overkill, so that's the right sort of kill for me. Anyways, those are going to be driving for over here. And I got a brass collet that'll go across them. A lot of them come with, let's see if I can't find it. They come with like these spring collets. So in the case that anything jams, it snaps the collet and not the machinery. There we go. It's these guys. It has a little cut in it, but you can see I can manipulate that by hand. And when you twist them, you can see I can manipulate that by hand. I didn't like the play that added to this, so I decided that I wanted these brass slip collars. I'll end up probably dimpling the shaft a little bit so I can set the set screw on these really well. But one thing to also think about was the size of the output shaft on this. Those springy collar guys fit the shaft, but downstepped into a smaller shaft for like a NEMA 17 or something like that. This guy, you can see, those shafts are the exact same size. So essentially those things will just be butted up against each other and hooked up. But you can see here that those motors hang out way, way further. So there's a couple things I wanted to accomplish today. I want to mark out where the rails are going. B, I'm going to cut out platforms for each side over here that are going to be adjustable, so I can adjust the height and positioning of all this, so I can actually get these mounted up. These will probably get mounted like this. I have another one of these on order because I only ordered 3 because I only intended to use 1 shaft. But since now I'm using 2, I'm going to need to use both these. Thankfully, my controller will handle it, and we'll get to the controller at a later video. I hope the controller's still good. Frankly, it still needs to be assembled, so you never know. So what I need to do is I need to find a distance from the rail here that allow me to bolt from underneath, because these are just going to be drilled with 4 bolts. I'm gonna have to build off an angle. I'm gonna have to cut out a couple pieces of angle iron for over here to bolt them to basically the rail on that side, and then the motor assembly is gonna be bolted over here. What that'll allow me to do is make sure that the ball screw is actually properly level. But more importantly, allow me to use it because if you recall from the last episode, this wasn't measured out right. Anyways, time to figure all that out. One thing to remember is you're going to want the distance from the center of the shaft to the rail here to be equal to over here, so you don't get any binding on your sled as it moves back and forth. I'm going to oversize the holes just a little bit, so if they're off, like most of my holes are, I'll be able to adjust it. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to need these aluminum blocks. That right there is a M6 hole. These are M5s, plus another 6 on the front face. Or the front face, so I actually have to anyways. Alright, so I cut out 4 of these. They're about 4.5 inches wide. And what I'm going to end up doing is bolting them on here. Now I'm bolting them. I'm going to be drilling oversized holes because I know for a fact that this side, with the motor and the motor mount, these will actually need to drop down a little bit to match and line up. Also, I may have to put an additional plate on this, and yeah, on this side. But the other side, I should be able to bring this into level. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to level this left, right, front, and back, so it's sitting 100% level to the ground. When I go to, I'll drill, mount the plates, then I can level these up 100%, so I don't have any, this isn't ramping down or going up, trying to get them as true as possible. So, I'm not going to let you see the crack, so we'll come back after I finish leveling. So you can see we got one of these mounted. The other one is almost there. Now the reason why I say almost there is because these titanium bits from Milwaukee have just been utterly failing me. This is a 5/16, what I need. This was a DeWalt carbide bit, and it's beautiful. It works great. You saw the other one I just chucked across the rim. That's because I broke the tip off of that because I was doing a pilot hole and then making the hole bigger. And this stuff is super brittle and literally just snapped the tip right off. So I have no more 5/16 bits, and that's the whole size I want. So that gives me a lot of adjustment room on these, while the heads and the washers and nuts can still give a good clamping force on the piece. So I'm probably going to have to order more of those, which sucks because that's a $50 set for one bit. I might just see if I can't order the bit itself. At the very least, I'm going to go buy another titanium oxide coated, whatever they're called, drill bits tomorrow. We'll finish mounting this. We'll get these rails bolted down, and then we'll get the angle pieces for the motor mounts on the other side, and those I'm going to probably do a little different. Probably going to drill a couple holes, and I'm going to make some slots. That way I can slide them up and down, just due to the overhang size of that motor. And probably going to put an 1/8 inch piece of flat steel out behind it for some additional support. Whatever, we'll get to that tomorrow. Anyways, thanks so much, and see you tomorrow. Hey, it's another beautiful day, and we got more work done on the CNC router table. Last I left you, I literally threw a bit across the room because the one that I needed to use was broken, and the Milwaukee just got all chowdered up. So, by the way, those bits weren't carbide, they were cobalt. So the cobalt bit was broken. That was my fault earlier for a different project. Anyway, so what I did was, as we saw, we leveled this guy out, and then did the exact same thing over here. I actually finally drilled through, bolted them down. They are really close to each other. All the holes, I wallowed them out a little bit, so in the event that I need to move this one way in a direction, I got room for that. The motors, so these are 21s or 23s, I can't remember. I got the paperwork here. There we go. That's what I'm rocking. Those are 23s, I think. 420 newtons. I don't know. Anyways, these are kind of the torquiest motors I could find that fit the controller that I had. That controller is still in pieces. We'll talk about that probably in the next video. These brackets were too long, or if they turned them around the other way, there wasn't enough meat for them to screw into. So buzz them off with the angle grinder, mounted those up. I got these as level as possible. You can see that these brackets put these lower on the frame. I would be willing to bet that's because it's designed to bolt from underneath the sandwich on this guy. I gotta do the Z-axis, install the motor on that. So I guess I'll find out there. One thing that I did find out, so when I was undoing the packaging for the ball screw, something fell out. Didn't know what it was. Well, as I was walking around the edges, found out it was a Zerk fitting. Did more research. This M6 hole is not another mount point. This is for a Zerk fitting, so you can grease this and the shaft remains greased. I didn't know that. The original set of 3 of these I got them did not come with fittings. Sure enough, look down the hole, I can see the ball screw in there, so had to order some Zerk fittings, had to order another one of these mount blocks for the Z-axis, so that's going to have to get torn down and rebuilt. But for today, I think this is good progress. Next video, I'm going to get the rail, get this all mounted up. I might have to just do that off camera, because you guys have seen me do it once before. I'll just do it again. The only difference here is I'd have to end up, I think, tapping holes. Or, I don't know. I'll have to figure out how I'm going to have to do that for these guys. But, either way, it's going to be a fun challenge. I told you last time, guys, I definitely failed, but this time, I made some pretty good progress, I dare say myself. Anyways, parts are coming in, bolts are coming in, and progress is being made. So, thanks so much, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.